Morning, everybody. Wanted to talk to you today about transitioning from our current hybrid model to next week's model, which is a combo of face-to-face and remote. So I built this quick PowerPoint just to go through some ideas with you. So let's jump right in. So one of the ideas that we've already talked about in PLC that I will bring back to life today is the idea of using closed captions and why this is important, more so important next week, okay? So if you think about it, you are going to have a combo of students who are A, because they're ELL or special ed subset. Those will be the kids in front of you. They will probably have or need specific supports for language. Some of your B kids may also have that same need. So it's always good to have closed captions on when you are doing something that involves a mini lesson and a PowerPoint. So don't forget that this is a tool that you know how to use and can use to project language, support language acquisition, and help the kids that will be face-to-face with you next week. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to talk to you about is just exactly this. What does it look like? So what does it look like when you're a teacher and you're planning for having a small subset of kids in front of you and another subset of kids at home remotely? So I drew up a little cartoon picture for us as a base to talk about today. So if you think about it, you are going to have, Johnny remote and Sally face-to-face at the same time. So if I were teaching with a combo, what I would do is have my teacher Chromebook set up, ready with the lesson, with the mini lesson, and I would project that for my kids. But I would also have my Google Meet open, of course, right, for my remoters, and I would be sharing my screen with those kids, okay? So you get your attendance going, you get set up, ready to go, you project the mini lesson. Now you have two options down here. You can either be that person that does the combo and live and recorded, or you can do live mini lesson, release for work period, and return for wrap up. But let's talk about option one first, shall we? So if you have a live mini lesson that you're doing with the kids and you're projecting it and sharing your screen, you can do that, and you've got your kids held captive audience at home while the face-to-facers are also so captive audience and ready for you there. And I'm going to talk about two strategies today that will help the kids in front of you and at home. Once you're done with that live mini lesson, you break off into independent work time, right? So it's workshop model. So those kids in front of you would then be doing the work. The kids at home would also be doing the work. My suggestion would be logging those kids off of the Google Meet so that they can go and work. And again, this is K through 5, 6 through 12, 9. So you got to kind of take what I'm saying with a grain of salt and adjust for your grade level. But you could release the kids for the work period and then have them return into the Google Meet for the wrap up. So you would give them a specific time to log back on, and then you check in, be like, I see Johnny, I see Sally, I see Kelly, whatever. And then those kids would be held accountable for the work at home, as would be the kids in front of you, right? And again, that's up to you how you do the accountability factor. Are they sharing out? Are they holding up their work? Are they presenting? Did they put it in a flip grid? Whatever you choose, okay? But this is kind of a visual to help you think about that. I have a video here for additional info. Really cool guy that's a teacher that made a video on how to do this. So feel free to jump into that. But really, you're thinking about, okay, wait. What about the kids that are in front of me and the kids that are home? How am I going to break this down for them? So basically, the A cohort will be in front of you. Those are your face-to-facers. And again, like I said, that is a combo of ELL students and special ed students. They probably have some sort of language need, right? Whether it's acquisition of the English language or it's acquisition of just improvement of of their current native language that they need reinforced. So how do we support that? So two things. Number one, Closed captions in a PowerPoint, I've already demoed it today. You guys know how to use it, but wanted to remind you that that will auto-populate text onto the kid's screen or the teacher's screen in real time in English. Super solid strategy to get our kids to be engrossed, embedded, always immersed in that language, okay? So that's a great idea. Continue to use it. Also, if you wanted to get really tech savvy, you could have the kids open up a Google Doc and click on, in the tools, voice to text. And then that could take automatic notes in English for the kids simply by that student's computer listening to the teacher speak. The second thing is Google Translate. So they've made some improvements to this, so I wanted to show it to you today. So if you have ELL students in front of you and they are really going to be struggling because they're a newcomer, into really understanding what you're saying, and you're talking about really some content heavy specific tier 3 stuff, right? With kids, you're like, okay, I'm talking about the, thingamabobs in ceramics or the thingamabobs in music tech and really heavy content language. You really need them to have some sort of scaffold or support. So a good idea is to have the kids, okay, be self-sufficient and use Google Translate. So if they simply go to translate.google.com, bring this up. The first time they use it, it's going to ask them permission to use their mic, and they'll simply say yes. Once they do that, if they have it set to English here and whatever their native language is here, they can click on the microphone and it will automatically populate the translation into their native language. So now they've become self-sufficient in being able to potentially read what they are hearing from the teacher in not only English, but their native language. Key here, speak slowly, enunciate, pronounce, pause, okay? The other thing that they can do is copy the notes. So if they go on to this little square right here, that'll copy the translation for them. And then they can paste it into wherever they choose to put their notes. And then they can be reminded of what needs to be done in their language. They can also copy it simply by copying here and put this into a notes page too. Okay? So Google Translate, really cool. Easy to use. They can have it as a window open on their Chromebooks as face-to-facers, but also as remote kids. Okay? So for face-to-face kids that have a language need for ELL, this is a good one. Okay? But for your kids who may need reinforcement in English, remember, if you are presenting in a PowerPoint and hit closed captions, this will put everything in English for you right on the board so that kids can see what you are saying. So that's it for today. I will share this video with you, and we will jump back into this next week in PLC to not only do a temp check on how we're doing with this, but also share out ideas on what worked and what didn't and what we need more help in. Okay? Thanks, everybody.